no stopping the Trump train. The Democrats and the deep state have grown utterly desperate, and now they're panicking that the indictments are making Trump stronger than ever.
Feel good? Feel good?
Let me ask you just a basic fundamental question. You have all of these never-ending attacks.
Yeah.
And you released on Truth Social earlier today that you are a target of this January 6th grand jury. My first question to you is, it doesn't seem to bother you like I think it would bother so many other people. What is it about you that it doesn't?
No, it bothers me. It bothers me for everybody in this incredible sold-out audience, and it bothers you. I got the letter on Sunday night. Think of it. I don't think they've ever sent a letter on Sunday night. And they're in a rush because they want to interfere. It's interference with the election. It's election interference. Never been done like this in the history of our country, and it's a disgrace. What's happening to our country, whether it's the borders or the elections or kinds of things like this, where the DOJ has become a weapon for the Democrats, an absolute weapon. And it seems that every time my polls, we're leading by a lot. And we're leading by a lot in a place called Iowa, a lot. And not only with the Republicans, but we're leading against Biden by a tremendous amount. They haven't seen anything like it. And they feel, I guess, they want to try and demean and diminish and frighten people, but they don't frighten us because we're going to make America great again. That's all there is. We're going to make
So that was President Trump at a town hall meeting with Sean Hannity in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, where Trump is absolutely killing it. He's crushing Biden in the polls in Iowa. Remember, Iowa was once a solid blue Democrat state. They voted for Mike Dukakis, for heaven's sakes, back in 1988. They flipped red, deep red, voting for Trump twice by a margin of 10 points. And as you can see, Trump is already capitalizing on this latest sham indictment, the potential indictment for J6. Now, let's make sure we rightly assess things as they stand. Just to be clear, as things stand right now, Special Counsel Jack Smith has yet to indict Trump. That has not yet happened. So let's just make that clear. He sent a target letter to Trump informing Trump that he is indeed a figure in the investigation to the J6 events, that Trump was going to report to the grand jury, have to report to him in a matter of days. Now, we'll see whether or not this deranged special counsel, as Trump puts it, goes through with this. A lot of legal experts are coming out and saying that they have no idea how Jack Smith could even conceivably pull this off. I mentioned yesterday former U.S. Attorney Brett Tolman tweeting out that even calling Trump before the grand jury made no sense. Rarely do you put a target in front of the grand jury because in the end, they only end up pleading the fifth, and you run the risk of compromising your case given due process rights. So this target letter itself doesn't make any sense. And then the threat of indictment isn't making any sense because there's no real charge that legal experts can conceive of to make what Trump did on J6 criminal. My namesake, Jonathan Turley, professor of law at George Washington University, he's noting that this prosecutor would definitely need a smoking gun outside of the speech Trump gave on January 6th prior to the outbreak of the riot, because there's just nothing in the speech itself that's directly provocative of a riot or insurrection. And everything Trump said is completely protected by free speech. Jack Smith would have to produce something that's a direct link to a conspiracy or an effort to cause violence, and we simply haven't seen any evidence for that. I mean, for example, the J6 kangaroo court, right? Again, keep in mind, this was the very definition of a committee that began with Trump's guilt already assumed. All they had to do was just find the evidence to fit the crime that they had already convicted him of. Every single person sitting on that committee, every member, had previously voted to impeach Trump. And after months of this kangaroo committee, they came up with nothing in terms of that type of evidence. Nothing. Zilch. Nada. And even prior to that, a thorough FBI investigation already concluded there was simply no evidence whatsoever that the riot on January 6th was the result of an organized plot to overturn the presidential election. So this is why a number of legal experts believe this case is ultimately going nowhere, even if it were to go to trial, right? Assuming Trump does eventually get indicted, even if it were to go to trial, and even if Trump were to be convicted by a corrupt D.C. kangaroo court, it would never pass judicial review in the appellate process. And that's ultimately because there's no actual crime that Trump committed in the speech or in any of the evidence put forward by the J6 committee. But the real miscalculation that the Democrats and the deep state are making here is that these indictments are going to take Trump out of contention for the presidency. But in point of fact, they're only making him stronger. And I'll show you exactly why. But first, gang, when was the last time you thought about where the money you pay to your phone bill actually goes? Did you know that in 2021, multiple major phone carriers donated over $10 million to far-left pro-LGBT causes? Major carriers have almost perfect scores from the far-left Human Rights Commission, which measures these companies' commitment to promoting LGBT activism. Well, my fellow patriot, there is no need to despair. Patriot Mobile is a nationwide mobile phone service made by and for conservative Christian patriots. With 4G and 5G coverage in the majority of the United States, there's simply no reason to keep giving woke mobile your hard-earned dollars. Since 2013, Patriot Mobile has been the only Christian conservative wireless provider in the U.S., bringing fast nationwide coverage to conservatives, all the while supporting conservative causes. So we're talking they're pro-life, they're pro-Second Amendment, they're pro-free speech, and they make sure to take care of our veterans and our police. They host events, give generously, and they've been supporting conservative causes for over a decade now. They're amazing. Click on that link below and make the switch today with Patriot Mobile. In fact, if you click on that link below right now, you're going to get free activation with my promo code TurleyTalks. So don't wait. Click that link or call 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-PATRIOT. And let's together boycott woke corporate America today.
Shouldn't be disqualifying for an elected official if they participated in January 6th.
He didn't strike anybody. He didn't hurt anybody.
And the only one that died was a protester there, not a Capitol police
unarmed
officer.
Female veteran. Was
That's
shot
the
by
only one that
police.
died.
That's the only one who died.
A police officer did die.
No, it was a
Heart attack.
stroke.
That's
That's not on site.
Caused by that. That's because
Right.
he shouldn't have been a police officer. It was one woman.
So
who was
what do
shot.
you make, though, overall of January 6th? I mean, it was, watching that footage, it was pretty disturbing. I mean, there were people throwing excrement at the walls, and it was it's the Capitol.
It looked a lot like Antifa's
Yeah,
actions
it looked
to
a
me.
lot, except on a much smaller scale. It looked the same as the Black Lives Matter riots.
That's what I saw, the
Every single
similarities
city
to
around
me.
the country, not
Minneapolis
just one.
burns. Kenosha burns.
But so it's okay
Waukesha
just because
Like,
one side that you
No,
disagree with?
I'm
it's
saying
okay
Antifa
for-
No, if
infiltrated.
it's good for one, it's good for the other.
Anybody
I don't
who
see it
harms
that way.
anybody who caused property destruction, that needs to be dealt with.
Yeah,
but if you're
on
there
either
making
side.
your voice heard at the
Right.
people's house, no less,
Yeah.
that's, again, it's a fundamental constitutional right of an American citizen. And people should not be being held political prisoner because of it.
For misdemeanors. That's East Germany.
That's East Germany.
Tactics.
Yeah, that's what's scary.
It was an actual fiery but mostly peaceful protest.
Yes. So, as you can see, that was an ultra-leftist MSNBC reporter getting mauled by a panel of Pittsburgh area Trump supporters on the media's tortured narrative surrounding J6. As you can see, they lost the narrative. And that, to me, is the biggest miscalculation here among the Democrats and the deep state and the legacy media. January 6th, whether the legacy media likes it or not, J6 made Trump more popular, not less. Trump is more popular since January 6th, and none other than CNN is admitting that. Polls have been consistently showing that Trump is trouncing Biden in virtually every single battleground state. You name it: Ohio, Iowa, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Arizona, Georgia. Trump is crushing Biden by percentages that were not seen before January 6th. Again, for right or for wrong, as you saw with the panel, J6 actually encapsulated for many the escalating face-off between the people and the permanent political class. This is why I think polls were they were so supportive of Trump after January 6th. For many patriots, J6 embodied a struggle, a radically frustrating struggle between the concerns of the people and the obtuse deafness of the permanent political class. The fact that Trump called for peace, he clearly called for the protests to be peaceful before they went to the Capitol building, and then he called for peace after the riots broke out. The fact that he called for peace, all the while at the same time never backing down from his original claims about the 2020 election, seems to have permanently enshrined Trump as the bona fide champion of the people. Someone who will fight on behalf of the common man and who simply will never back down. And so if that's the case, then this latest possible indictment will only end up making Trump stronger than ever before. Hey, gang, I know what it's like to feel alone out there in these turbulent times, but I broke free. If you too have been looking for a community with like-minded patriots who are serious about resisting globalism, building a parallel economy, and having intelligent and deep fellowship on a regular basis, then you've come to the right place. In my Courageous Patriot Insiders community, we're building a close-knit movement of, by, and for patriots who are breaking free from the outrage and despair cycles of the mainstream media and taking on the fight against globalism. Every week, I deep dive into the content I can't share on big tech and give you the cliff notes on the truth of how patriots just like you are building up their communities, starting patriot businesses, and fighting the woke in both public and private. All with a few history and political lessons from yours truly, of course. If you want to stop feeling alone as a patriot and stand together with this fast-growing community, be sure to click on the link in the description below. Don't wait. Join me and my Patriot Coalition today, and let's get fighting.